Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Video Game Town Hall podcast. A podcast that could be about more than video games, maybe American history, maybe television, maybe a rant or two about life. Who knows where this podcast will lead us, but leading us today, as always, me. I'm your host, Jared Russo. I'm the mayor of Video Game Town, and with me today is a historian, a scholar, and a gentleman, Grant Bruner.
Oi, bruv, it's me, the historian. I know all sorts of history. You know that in 1492, some bloke did a genocide.
That was really not the accent I was looking for, because, as you'll see later, I'm going to be doing a fun thought exercise game with Grant based around America specifically, and then you decided to pivot away from America, so...
That's probably that's all I got. I don't know. That's all. The only thing I can do is do a Dick Van Dyke Cockney. I'm Grant Bruner. I am the editor-in-chief of One Video Game Town. And if you like Video Game Town, you like the podcasts we do, the videos we do, the articles we write, the people we have writing for our site, the wonderful freelancers who are now appearing on Video Game Town. If you like that and you want more of that, you can go to videogame.town/donate. You can give us some money. You go on our Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You get a bonus podcast. So instead of the, on average, 4 episodes you get a month, you would get a bonus one. You get 5 total. Hey, there's other stuff. There are other tiers on the Patreon. If you want to do more stuff with us, you have more options. And then if you don't want to do any sort of subscription, you can throw us a couple bucks with our Ko-fi. And if you don't have any money to spare, but you still like us, go over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave a nice 5-star review for us. We would appreciate that.
What if I told you and the listeners that in a few weeks I'll be starting up a new Patreon exclusive series,
and
it's ranking the smartest basketball teams to the dumbest basketball teams.
Oh God. I'm so glad I don't edit these anymore, because, Jared, if you had told me that, I can't tell you the psychic damage I would have taken. I cannot fucking tell you the psychic damage I would have taken if I was editing these for the website.
What if I told you that instead of 32 NFL teams, there's only 30 NBA teams?
That's so many. That's way too many. That's, I would say, upwards of 30 too many.
No, you gotta have at least 2.
Do you?
Yeah. People like basketball.
Do they like basketball, or do they like sick dunks? Because what if basketball wasn't 2 teams competing against each other, it was just a dunk contest?
Well, they have a dunk contest, and it's actually sucked the last several years. They sort of ruined it. What if I told you that they used to outlaw dunking in college back when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played? So he had to, like...
too good?
Yeah, like, I mean, it wasn't just because of him, but, like, they outlawed dunking. Like, it wasn't a part of the rules.
Because no fun allowed.
So, like, he had to do
fun in our sports.
He had to develop, like, a hook shot called a sky hook, where he would, like, jump and, like do, like, an arching thing. And it was, like, the most devastating shot in the NBA. No one could guard against it, and that's why he was the scoring champion up until, like, last season, where LeBron James finally passed him. But, anywho, I have more specific Americana to get into. Now, Grant, I was thinking I needed a topic to talk about, and I know that you like American history.
I engage with American history a lot, and I would say that I enjoy huge swaths of it, but there's a lot of American history that's really hard to enjoy. It's a lot of like, well, it's good to know this, but woof.
I don't mean the bad stuff. I'm not talking about wars and cool subjugation too. And yeah, I'm talking about like the fun stuff.
Yeah, there's cool shit happening in America and the rest of the world too, but you know, America's the place I live.
So, I came up with a brilliant concept. There are, for my money, 2 notable game series that are Americana. They are primarily set in America because they are about the American experience and the American dream and, you know, like the individual cities or states. One of them is Grand Theft Auto. But I don't feel like talking about that because they literally have only really cycled between...
Yeah, it's London, 3 cities. So it's like, it's Americana, asterisk, we only count 3 cities. And fuck the rest of the country.
It was London the first 2 games, then it was New York, then it was Miami, then it was LA/San Francisco/Las Vegas, and then New York, and then LA, and then now Miami. The other is Fallout. And I thought to myself, where would the next Fallout game be set? So unbeknownst to you, I have made a video where I show on a map and I go into some images where I think Fallout 5 should be set.
Okay.
You have not seen this video.
I have not seen this video.
You would enjoy it. I mean, you're going to watch it anyways, but I have some things to toss out, and I want you to sort of give me some feedback, okay?
If the answer that you're going to give me is not the Delmarva Peninsula, you're going to get a hard no from me.
Here's the thing. I had to, at the start of the video, walk through all the places Fallout has already been set, because I don't really like to double dip.
DC, Boston, Las Vegas, Utah, that deserty area. Where else?
They started in California, so they've already technically done LA. Then they did DC. Then they did a DLC called The Pit, which is in Pittsburgh. It's all about like steel mills. And then they did New Vegas, and then there's a DLC that's in Utah. Then they did 4, which is Boston. And then they did 76, which is Appalachia. So that's West Virginia, Pennsylvania, that sort of region. And I thought to myself, the first instinct I have is mixture of different cultures, a number of varied locales in terms of like topography or climate or, weather, and a dash of like distinct city iconography and like town spirit and maybe a little bit of conspiracy theory thrown in. Do you know where I'm talking about?
You're not going to put it in Vegas again, so no. the Nevada stuff. The conspiracy theory part is really fucking me up. So I guess...
What if I told you the conspiracy theories were about an airport?
An airport? I don't know any conspiracy theories about airports. I guess unless, like, the planes are a fake thing for, like, their paths are fake because we have a flat Earth. Like, that's the only plane conspiracy theory I know.
Denver, Colorado is famous for having their airport be the home of a number of batshit theories that have become jokes that the city has leaned into, in which the Illuminati has their meetings there, the Freemasons have their meetings there, the airport's cursed. They have like weird statues and art that are very idiosyncratic and esoteric. There is a whole hub of Native American stuff and Mexican stuff and like pure American Western frontier stuff and snowing, skiing, snowboarding.
It's like a little too much like the West. Like Denver is different from like the Vegas area for sure, but it is very mountainy and dry.
They've never really had like a snowy place though, and I didn't just want to go like snowy mountains. Like it's there's like the atmosphere, the altitude. It has its own sort of like vibe. I went to Denver last year for the first time, and there definitely is like a very bespoke sort of Colorado mixture of a number of influences, and it also has like enough landmarks and fun sort of meta narratives. I was like, you could definitely do something with like this and Yellowstone. Like you can sort of combine those and make a cool Fallout game. How do you feel about that?
I think that's fine. I do think that it's like a huge bummer that they didn't really do all that much with Mormons when they're out. It's like, I think that's a huge bummer, because I think that like one of the things that I really like about The Expanse is that they're space Mormons. It's like, it's set in the future, but it's like, okay, well now the Mormons are like a fucking faction, and I think that shit's really cool. Here's my argument. So if you're not gonna set it in the Delmarva Peninsula because you're some sort of hater, I think another good argument, a good place to be, would be the Detroit Canadian border, because you have like a big dense city. You have like, hey, it's Motor City, baby. There's lots of shit you could do with that, and you're going to be butting up against Canada, which is stuff that they haven't really done all that much with, like what's happening outside of the U.S. I think that like that would open up a bunch of cool stuff.
Well, that brings me to the second place I talk about in the video. I promise I will stop mentioning this video. Please watch it on our website, videogame.town, or our YouTube channel. The second thing I thought of was Pacific Northwest, Vancouver,
Sasquatch.
Seattle, Portland, Oregon. Sasquatch, Fisherman,
Twin Peaks.
Space Needle. You know how there was a cult around Elvis in New Vegas? They're the Kings, and they all dressed like Elvis, but they didn't really know who Elvis was. Imagine that for like grunge, because there are statues of like Kurt Cobain and Chris Cornell. Like
there's a fish
Jimi
in
Hendrix,
the percolator.
there are like lots of like sea trolls and like kraken, and you could absolutely lean into Canadian stuff if you want to do like a Vancouver versus Seattle, or it seemed ripe for like the trees and, you know, the forest and the water, and it has its own unique sort of like subculture. People wearing flannel. That seemed like a particularly interesting place to set a Fallout game, because it is America, but it is like outside of Alaska, which already got its DLC in Fallout 3, Operation Anchorage. It is like the furthest away that you can get, and it's still a part of the continental US, but like it has its own complete distinct feel.
I mean, I do think it would be kind of funny to see them in Florida, to see Fallout in Florida. Because, like, you do get to lean into Florida man shit.
They will not do that because GTA 6
GTA.
already planting its flag there.
But it is funny to imagine. Texas is also like a big, like, you could do all sorts of bullshit in Texas. It also gives you a lot of room to wiggle around, and like going in between like Austin and Dallas and Houston, like there's a bunch of shit you can do. So like when you pick up like a big highly populated area, you go like, yeah, sure, there's stuff there.
You read my mind.
Yeah, Texas is a good one.
That was the next one I was going to bring up. I thought of San Antonio, the Alamo, and Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. Like, you could absolutely do like a Hatfields-McCoy, Oklahoma side, Texas side, Longhorn Brahmin mutated, cows, and fucking
I would hesitate about
tumbleweeds.
Oklahoma, because there's Oklahoma. If you're doing Oklahoma, you have to like delve deep into native people. And I do not trust Fallout to be like, what's like a sensible, reasonable way to tell stories about Native Americans? Like, I don't believe, like, they fucking in the Fallout 4, they're like, let's repurpose like the Underground Railroad. Let's just use that for some bullshit. And it's like, dude, come on, fucking come on.
Well, that was about like, yeah, the Minutemen, like, I understand.
The fuck on.
Would a part of me like to see that handled in an interesting way? Yes. Is it going to happen?
They are not the team to do it.
They're not the team to do it. But the Sooners and Cowboys, like, you could have like the giant AT&T Stadium in Dallas where the Cowboys play and a lot of concerts are held. Like, you could have that be like its own vault. Like, you could really do interesting stuff with hell, Louisiana and New Orleans. But the other thing I was thinking of, and you just mentioned this, my brain went to Florida. You got Key West, you got the Caribbean, you get beaches, you get Miami, you get the theme parks in Orlando. But they already did like Nuka World. I thought, what about Georgia?
Sure. I mean,
Atlanta. Because you get like 13 colonies, you get like the South, but you also get like the weird Atlanta
Georgia
stuff.
Is we burn the thing about the South, the Southeast particularly. We set it on fire. So in the way that like when you set it in the Northeast and they set it in like the Boston area, and there's some Maine stuff too, you get a bunch of old shit, like here's some colonial type shit. With the South, we set all that shit on fire, because they tried to secede from the Union, you might remember. So I do think like there's some of that where it's just like, yeah, like all of the like, oh, this like pre-colonial, or like a like pre-revolutionary rather.
Southern debutantes.
Yeah, I don't think.
Peach trees.
And fuck, dude, that's the last thing I want them to do is like, here's a plantation. Like, fuck off. Fuck off. Do not put a plantation into Fallout. What the fuck?
Well, okay, here's my counterpoint. I hope no one takes that the wrong way. The timeline that Fallout is set in is like a utopia that's like, it seems like it's in the 50s, but everything's powered on like nuclear fuel rods, so it's like futuristic yet retro.
Yeah, it detaches from reality pretty early on.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to follow like the Founding Fathers are in 3, like that stuff happened, but like they don't get into like the Korean War because like that never happened, so like Vietnam never happened, like certain things like never happened in that world. All right, so okay, I also did I briefly mentioned this in the video. I had not fleshed it out fully, but I figured there would have to be something set in Chicago around the lakes in the Midwest, and Cheeseheads and Wisconsins and Minnesotans and Babe the Blue Ox, and like there was enough like mythical folklore creatures and stories and tales and legends, urban legends and stuff that you could do around Indiana, Illinois. I hadn't quite put my finger on what exactly that would look like. But those were my initial thoughts. Do you have any off the top of your head? Please don't say Philadelphia.
The Delmar Peninsula, the Delaware Valley, my guy.
But Philadelphia would just be more Boston in 4. That's all it would be.
But, like, fuck Philadelphia, it's a Delaware, baby. Delaware, baby!
Isn't there a Delaware DLC for 76?
That cannot be possible. There's no fucking way that they made Delaware in Fallout 76.
Delaware. The Delaware River's in the game.
Okay, well I'm sure it's in Pennsylvania. I'm sure it's in Pennsylvania.
No, it is. It is, yeah. It's the Rust Belt, it's Appalachia, for sure.
Yeah. Well, but once you get to you're no longer in Appalachia. If you're hitting the Delaware River, you're no longer in Appalachia, I'm afraid. You have left Appalachia and headed towards the coast.
Eastern Commonwealth.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I would love Delaware. I wish more games were set in Delaware. Or not, because it's not even just Delaware, it's like the peninsula. It's like it's such a cool place, and like I think about it, and I've set like doing my own personal writing where I'm like, oh, there's this like a perfect setting for a bunch of different things. The number one with a bullet would definitely be Detroit. I think Detroit is such a smart place to put it.
That is really good. Yeah, it's fucking smart.
I like it a lot. I also think that like a lot of those places you haven't done yet, you haven't like mentioned yet, it's hard to be like there's going to be a lot of content there. Because like if you just want to name cool places in the United States, like yeah, Montana has a bunch of cool shit. It's not really like there's not a lot of stuff to like, and then here would be these weird factions or whatever. It's like here's a pretty place to put your video game. Like,
but then you'd have to bring in the New California Republic. You have to sort of bring in more.
There is one option. There's one particular state that you could set it in that would be a very strong option, and that is Hawaii.
Okay, Hawaii. I thought you were going to go Puerto Rico, but that's too small.
Not a state, but
it's also not a state. Yeah, no.
I mean, Hawaii would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Or what if there was, like, Yakuza pirates there?
So I also mentioned in the video that if you're not going to set it in the U.S., if you are going to venture out, where would it be around the world? And I only dabble in this, but I mentioned that there is a huge mod called Fallout London.
Yeah.
You could do Ireland, or you could do Australia and New Zealand, and that could be its own huge world. It could be its own MMO of Australia and the Reef, and the Bondi Beach, and the Outback, and New Zealand.
Hongshu. I don't think you need to. I don't think it needs to be an anglophone place. Like my immediate thought was, can you put this in fucking like South Africa?
Oh, that would be good. That would be really good.
Because obviously you have like huge mixtures of cultures. Like you have like two separate colonizing forces, and you also have like a huge variety of indigenous groups that are not the same. They are not. It's not like, oh, here's a variety of the same group. Like no. Here are vastly different cultures and admixtures. That is like very interesting, and like I think that stuff would be great. I mean, and then like there's like the places that have lots of people that they're just never fucking set games in, like South Asia. There are so many fucking people in South Asia, and they never ever under any circumstance set games there, and it's bizarre. I mean, I guess like Eurocentrism and blah 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 blah, but like there's so many people in South Asia, and we never ever put video games there.
I can only think of 2 games that are in Southeast Asia. I think there are a handful of levels set there in the Splinter Cell games. And there was that canceled Immortals Phoenix Rising, the Ubisoft Breath of the Wild knockoff, that was going to go from Greek gods to like Southeast Asian gods. Like it was going to be like Polynesian, and they canceled it.
Because I'm thinking specifically about like India and Pakistan and.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Indonesia,
like, not Southeast Asia, South Asia. So like, I'm thinking like, and like there are games like Thirsty Suitors. Like there are games of people who are of like Indian or generally South Asian ancestry, but it's not set there. It's like set in fucking the Middle America or whatever. Like it's set in the places you would assume a game was set in. I would love to see more games set in, where like they do set games. It's like games
Far Cry?
like yeah, Far Cry does, because where was that set? Was that in Nepal?
They usually use fictional countries.
Oh, fake, but like
essentially,
but you could do some math to be like,
Yeah,
this is probably like
it was Nepal.
this area. Yeah.
There was that level in Hitman that was in India. That was really
true.
cool.
Hitman does some good stuff. There's also games like Crusader Kings, like will have fleshed out, like South Asia is fleshed out in Crusader Kings. It's not the same though.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, that's if they're willing to really see where bombs fell and what difference of level of irradiation, like maybe
it
places
also
like that
seems
didn't
like
get
they're
as
not
far.
willing to go outside of America, right? Like, I feel like everything I've ever heard from the people who make Fallout, and obviously like that group of people has changed over time, but it's like, it's American, like we're telling American stories. We're not all that interested in going outside of America.
I mean, they crank these games out so slowly, even though there's like a huge demand for them because like the show is very big and popular. Do I even dare mention, like, what about the other side of the fictional war with China? Like, would you set a game in China? Like, how would China look? How would Tibet look? Like,
because the only stuff they've really done is like propaganda, right? Like, because like that Anchorage one is like, it's like anti-Chinese propaganda.
It's like a VR simulation of a mission of like, what if they invaded Alaska first, or maybe it's like based on what actually happened in their history. I know in the show there's like a vault where people got brainwashed into like communist propaganda, and it's like very cartoonish and outlandish. It's like, oh yeah, these people like really brainwashed into like, crazy communism or whatever. They touch on that in the show, so yeah.
I'm sure I trust the people who make the Fallout TV show to understand communism.
No, they were doing it as a bit. That was like a fun bit. It's like, oh my god, these people's lives were ruined, and it's like, not really.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, like, I do think that if you wanted to, like, in my same argument for the like Motor Town, just put it in Detroit, and then you go up against the Canadian border. I think that if you wanted to go into like keep it in the Southwest, or you could also do it if you wanted to set it in Texas, you can then do it, but set it up against Mexico. Like, I think having border stories is good. Like, it gives you opportunities to have like, oh, here's some shit you've never seen before. Like, oh, hey, we're moving the ball down the field in terms of a story. Like, there's stuff you can do when you're butted up against a border.
Us versus them. What faction do you choose?
There's like stuff there, and like it gives them an opportunity to like, instead of like rehashing things that already exist, it gives them opportunities to like come up with new stuff.
That's true. See, I figured that would be like a fun thought exercise, because this isn't going to pair with the video that I produced, but I figure, what does Grant like? He likes American history.
Grant does like American history.
Not necessarily America, but American history.
Well, I mean, here, listen, America itself, the place, is among the least controversial parts of liking America. Like, hey, there's a bunch of like beautiful places here, is like the least controversial part. Like, that's great. Like, I don't think anybody's like, no, America looks ugly and sucks. Like, yeah, politics and like leadership and yada yada, history of institutionalized racism and sexism and all that stuff is
military
true,
industrial complex. Yes,
but the physicality is fucking gorgeous. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's why Kojima set Death Stranding here, even though it looks like Iceland or Norway or whatever.
It certainly does not look like a place that I've ever been.
Insane. All right, well, let's transition into, speaking of Fallout TV shows. Grant, you've been watching another TV show called Pluribus.
And I finished it maybe like 30 minutes before we recorded.
Don't you feel so smug and so justified?
I did. So it's obviously like, it's impossible to prove this to people, because I watched it after it all aired. But like, the second that they had this big drawn out, I guess with the spoilers, we have to talk about spoilers. So like, hey, spoilers, everybody, we're going to talk about the thing. If you don't want to talk about the thing, we have time codes in the thing. You can jump ahead. I take time out of my day when I put this up on our site to give you the timestamps so you can jump ahead. So spoilers. When they did the scene where she is like, if I asked for an atom bomb, would you give me an atom bomb? And they do the long drawn out thing. I'm like, this ends with it. I said to my wife, I'm like, this ends with a nuke, right? Like, there's no way they're drawing this out so much. And it doesn't, there's not a nuke somewhere. Not necessarily like, oh, and then she drops a nuke on them or whatever, but like, a nuke comes into play at some point, right? They're setting this up, right? And the very, very end of the season, it's like, hey, we're bringing it back.
I sent you a bomb emoji,
Yeah.
and I was like...
I felt pretty good about it.
Yeah. I mean, the show shows the dominoes it's going to knock over, which is
100%. It is written in such a way, and here's the thing, I feel like for the vast majority of like television's existence, we have made things where the writers, most of the time, they set things up for you, you can interpret them, and you go, oh, I think this thing is likely to happen. And then, most of the time, those things happen because you're setting it up and you're paying it off. Like, this is very straightforward storytelling. And then, sometimes, you subvert the expectation, and that's exciting and cool. But I feel like in the last 15, 20 years, all the people who make TV and most of the people who make movies have been like, twists! All we do are twists, baby! The only thing that matters is people can't guess where we're going. And I think that is like a miserable way to approach storytelling.
What if there was a show called Lost, in which the writers were just making it up as they went, with no plans or intentions to ever actually explain things? It was all mystery box. Mystery box, mystery box, mystery box.
I think that's a huge bummer. And, like, I understand the people who watched Lost. They bought into Lost. And so, like, I understand why the people like it. And I don't think less of them for liking the thing. But as somebody who didn't watch it as it aired, everything I've ever heard about Lost, like, from the outside is like, oh, fuck this thing. This thing fucking sucks.
I remember in college having a conversation with someone that went for almost an hour. I had seen not 1 minute of Lost, but I had read so many like internet theories and people complaining about it. I was able to have a conversation where I just kept asking questions like, yeah, what do you think's in that vault in the safe on the island? Or like,
polar bears?
What do you think of that polar bear? And I just asked questions, and like it was like, oh yeah, well clearly you've seen it because like, and I was just like, this is so ridiculous that like you can't have that conversation with Mad Men. You can't be like, yeah, the business deal, right? Like they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like. But with Lost, it's like you could just totally fake a conversation
where he's beating his wife and drinking alcohol, right? That's the equivalent of Mad Men, right?
I don't think anyone beats their wife. Anyways,
it's the 50s. They were doing all sorts of spousal violence.
Grant, that show's set in the 60s. Okay.
Oh, I thought it was the 50s because they're dressed like they're from the 50s.
No, it starts in 61 and it goes until like the moon landing is like the final season.
Do they like start? Are there like hippies at like as the show moves on? There's more like there's people counterculture stuff.
The whole show shows the rise in like women in the workplace, feminism, minorities in the workplace, like equal rights for like people who aren't just like John Hamm, aka Don Draper, hippie culture, like counterculture, like a new generation sort of turning over, like World War II vets and like World War I vets and like. Korean and like people going off to Vietnam, like it definitely shows that sort of change in America. What a great show!
But we're not here to talk about Mad Men. We're here to talk about Pluribus. Pluribus, good show.
Pluribus is great because how Carol treats those other survivors is how the guy at the end treats her. She's like, "God, we get it. Like, shut up. You're so annoying." And I'm like, Carol, that was you at the beginning. You know, like.
So here is my thing about. Well, I have a couple of things. One, I think the one thing is like I don't even have much to say other than these two things resonate. Jared, if you had played Clair Obscur, if you had gone through and finished Clair Obscur, this is so much of this show is just like. Oh, it's like it like breaks open like, oh, this is exactly what they're talking about in Clair Obscur. These are the themes in Clair Obscur. Like
I don't remember there
like,
being a paintress in Pluribus.
but like it is so much like they are hitting these same themes in that game, which I love. They are hitting them strongly here. The thing that I have much more to say about is Carol is so easy for me to see myself in like every step of the way. In that, like, I think her initial reaction of like, well, fuck all of this shit. They're like, they stole everything. They stole the world. Like, this fucking virus stole the world. We are now in apocalypse scenario. Like, the rules don't matter anymore. Like, I've seen a lot. I have like dipped my toe because like the nice thing about a forum is that you can go to the page numbers, and see the dates. So I've kind of been going through, and I say, okay, go on Wikipedia. What date did this episode air? And I go, okay, I'm going to look at the pages before this episode, so people aren't spoiling shit for me. So I'm like reading through the Reset Era thing, and I think there's a lot of people who want to apply non-apocalypse rules onto these people, and I'm like, right, it's the apocalypse though. So,
but it's a nice, peaceful one.
So the rules are pretty different. Society, because everything is the apocalypse. But so like I think her, like, you have taken everything. Fuck this shit. I want my Earth back. Is incredibly reasonable. Like, that is a very reasonable thing, a reasonable position to hold. And I feel like I would have a very similar idea. The way that she is so frustrated that nobody else seems to fucking care. Like, all of the people that she talks to, the English speakers that she talks to, they're like, I don't know, man. It very much feels like the kind of the conversations that I have, like, regarding politics and all that shit, where it's just like, the world is ending, what the fuck are you talking about? And people are like, I don't know. What's you making such a big fuss over this? And I'm like, yeah, that would drive me crazy. I understand why she is, like, being driven crazy. And then the others, the virus people, they are the most manipulative shits you can conceptualize. Like, from, like, the word go, they are manipulating her. They schlep some lady from the ruins of Poland across the goddamn globe because they're like, we think she wants to fuck her. Like, we think she wants to fuck this lady. So they're the worst. Like, to be clear, they're the worst. They manipulate her. They manipulate her from the get-go, and I think she is recognizing it. I don't think that she's like I don't think at any point she's like not realizing that she's being manipulated, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean also that she's not being manipulated. Like, she is being manipulated even if she can recognize that they're doing manipulative thing.
She's lonely, man.
She's fucking lonely. And like they then do the most manipulative thing, which is like withdraw every point of contact. Like, you have nothing that approaches the life you had before. You get nothing. And that drives you crazy. Of course it would. It's extremely relatable. Like, I understand why that, like, shifts her brain chemistry. Of course it would. And I think that so much of her, like, quote-unquote relationship with Zosha, aka everybody left on Earth, is her, like, it resonates with, like, the last 10 years, but also specifically the last 5 years of, like, she wants to feel fucking normal. Like, she wants to, like, everything has been taken from her. Like, the whole world has been taken from her. And, like, she wants to play act like things could be normal again. And, like, obviously they can't. Obviously they won't. But, like, her, like, I'm going to go on, like, this like, ski trip with my alien virus girlfriend is like, yeah, of course. Episode. Like, of course, like, she wants that to be real so badly, which is an entirely reasonable human thing to want. Like, nobody, like, I think other people have more harsh reads on Carol than I do, but I think, like, that's a deeply human, like, yeah, is she, like, making mistakes? Sure, of course. They are deeply human, like, reasonable mistakes. Like, she's not, I think she before things went down, she was like rude and like
A functional alcoholic.
Yeah, sure. And like that stuff's not great. But like so much of once everything goes down, it's like I understand why she's doing this. Like, and why she's making these compromises and why she's saying like fuck it, I'll just do this thing. Because it's like, well, everything's fucking gone. How do I get like the tiniest bit of feeling good when everything feels terrible all the time? I think
Girls.
she's a great. I think
Physical media.
It's a great character who is acted phenomenally. I just think that like she has to carry that show. I mean, like the one episode where she is on the screen like 90% of the time. Like she carries that entire episode, but she's also carrying the show. Like she is doing almost all of the heavy lifting.
Yep.
It's great. The character is extremely well written, and I think the actress is phenomenal.
Yeah, Rhea Seehorn has already won a Critics' Choice Award a day or two ago for Best Actress in a Drama. I would imagine she cleans up at all the award shows for the rest of the year. Because she was very rudely snubbed for her portrayal of Kim Wexler, Saul Goodman's partner on Better Call Saul. She equally was very important on that show, and great. I would say that this show doesn't look or feel like really any other movies or shows, because it is a sunny, oddly empty but optimistic, like happy-go-lucky apocalypse. So it just doesn't operate in the same way as like a Walking Dead or anything else. It is very light on characters. It doesn't have a ton of subplots. It can't cut away and do all the things that most shows do where they're sort of bouncing around. It is
They kind of have two A plots going, right? Because they can't really do A plot, B plot. It's like either here is a full episode of just this one A plot, or here is A plot 1 and A plot 2, like cutting between her and Manusos. Who also we just like don't even know his name until like the second to last episode of the show.
Which is great.
So I'm just like, I don't know, the Paraguayan guy.
It seems slight on the surface, but it is so not. But like it is like a high wire act to like make something that's very engaging and like paced and planned carefully, that makes you go like, I don't know what's going on, but I want to know more. And then it answers the things while leaving some dangling threads, but like keeping you going without it just being like fucking lost, or it's like, look, there's a polar bear now. It is a real accomplishment to pull off everything that they set out to do. And here's my favorite fun fact. The original ending to the season was a sort of more silent agreement between the two on saving the world. And Apple gave them notes like, why don't you go like go big or go home? Like have him drop a nuke. Not literally, but like give her do something crazy like that. And the writers were like, fuck, that's a good note. We should do that. So like they actually did that for the finale, where they were going to do it more subtle. And Apple's like, we gave you a blank check. Like you made Breaking Bad. Like let's bring in a helicopter to give him a nuke. Like spice things up.
Also, the budget on these are crazy. Like
it is insane.
These are, I mean, like it is basically like here's 4 fully like high budget movies, basically.
Yeah.
It's wild, like how much money that must cost. But also, like, it's been like really successful. Like, I don't know what the math is, and with streaming, the math's always fake anyway. So, like, I don't know about how you even make up the money. But like, I think you see it most of the time. I will say there are 2 shots that are clearly composite, because I think most of it is shot in the real world,
in New Mexico.
Of it is shot in New Mexico.
Yep.
But there are like a handful, like 2 specifically that come into mind that are composite shots that look like fucking shit. Like there is one where she pops off, she goes to the roof. I want to say she's at the. I think she's exploring. I don't know if it's the roof of the processing facility or the roof of the Sprouts or hospital.
Oh yeah.
She pops
out.
I know
what you're talking about.
And it's like, oh, this is a soundstage. I fucking hate this. This looks like a Star Wars movie where everything sucks.
I know what you're talking about.
And then there's one shot where they're in the final episode. There's a shot where she's doing that like big vacation with Zosha, and it's like that, and there you can see rocks in the background. and then they pull focus to her, and I'm like, oh, they're standing on a soundstage. I hate this. I hate that I see this and I'm immediately pulled out of it because I can see that they're on a soundstage. Where it's like, listen, I think so much of like the prequels does look shitty, but at least it's like it is consistently shitty. Is that it kind of looks like that all the time? This is like really nice, awesome, looks really, really well shot.
95%.
And then like
of the time.
here's like two scenes where it's like, oh, this is a nightmare. I can tell you're on a soundstage.
I will say that it is smart of them to have built that cul-de-sac from the ground up. Yeah. That didn't exist because so many people would go to the actual locations they shot in New Mexico and Albuquerque for Breaking Bad, that it sort of disrupted the people who live there. Like, it's not like a super touristy place, so like people going to Walter White's house and throwing a pizza on top of the roof, like they're like, let's just make our own cul-de-sac that doesn't exist so no one can fuck with us, or whatever. But Apple is a multi-trillion-dollar corporation. They can literally lose as much money as they want doing prestige TV, and it shouldn't matter. So like, no one should be upset at like how much money they're pissing away on television if they can just give artists a blank check like Scorsese to make Killers of the Flower Moon or whatever. So this show is really, really funny when it wants to be, like with the drone hitting the light post and with the garbage bag. Like it, what a phenomenal series that we will not see return for like another 2 years.
I will also say, I want to give a shout out to something that my wife clocked immediately, which is that when the others are manipulating Carol and they rebuild from like memories, they rebuild her favorite cafe or whatever the fuck it was, diner or whatever.
Yeah.
That they have learned, presumably from like interacting with what's his nose from North Africa. They presumably have like, oh, okay, we need to have, even though we as a hive mind would never have people talking to each other, we need to have people sitting in all of these seats pretending to have conversations because that's part of the illusion we're building to manipulate Carol.
Yeah, the show is very interested in like language and communication and translating and differences between cultures when like trying to like speak, like that's an underrated part of the show. And yeah, also like whenever that like James Bond sequence where it's like, yeah, they're all pretending to be actors or whatever, and then it's like the moment it ends, they all just stand and just silently go back to work or whatever. Like that stuff's awesome. Yep.
Yeah, I think all that stuff is really good. I also don't know. Let me know if I can find the fucking who those people are. Kumba is the Mauritanian. Okay. I think that actor, I guess his name is Samba Shoot. Great. Fucking awesome. Like, yep. He delivers, it has the perfect, like, balance between, like, outrageous, but also, like, weirdly charming. And, oh man, the scene where Carol's like, oh, I'll just go get another hotel room, and you see him, like, oh, I don't want her around me. and how she, like, it, like, crushes her, and then she is like immediately able to pivot. So good.
Yeah, a lot of great faces, and man, fucking John Cena showing up.
Oh yeah.
Hi Carol,
John Cena's there.
It's me, John Cena. Native shows up in everything.
Here's what I'll say. I understand that Vince Gilligan has a great pedigree and lots of people hold lots of trust, and I'm sure that team that he has built will do their very damnedest to make something cool continue. And I will probably watch it, and it will probably be great. To me, when you get something like this, my instinct is like, oh, don't continue it, don't fuck it up. Like, if you continue it, you're gonna fuck it up. Leave it alone. You made a cool thing.
If there's any writer, director, showrunner I trust with my life to deliver, it's Vince Gilligan.
Sure. I get it. He's obviously proven himself capable, and not just capable of like him himself, but like building teams of people who can write, people who can direct, people who can like build and deliver consistent things. Like obviously him and his teams have done good things. I certainly am not arguing about that.
He gets the best talent. He gets the best filmmakers, and more than Matt Weiner, who did Mad Men, the show after that, called The Romanovs, no one liked. And anything the creator of The Sopranos. What the fuck is his name? Something Cage? Anything he's done after The Sopranos, no one's liked. So, like, it's a very hard thing to pull off more than once, and he's got multiple shows that have succeeded in his bag. So, yeah, I trust him.
Yeah. It's just kind of the same thing where it's like, even, like, I think about Severance, another Apple TV released show, where it's like, that first season of Severance is kind of a perfect object.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really good. And I think the second season is great, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But there is a part of me that's like, maybe you should have just let the first season be its own thing. Maybe you should have just left it be. I think that there's some of it where it's just like, I know that if you keep making stuff, you will eventually fuck it up, because that's just the way things are. The more surface area, the more it is for you to fuck it up. But I think that first season of Pluribus is really, really solid.
I think because TV takes so much longer to make now for some godforsaken reason, and I think like the sort of model of like fewer episodes, fewer seasons in general, like you're cutting the fat, like you're just getting a tighter, more streamlined show. So like Succession intentionally ended after 4. Like I feel like people are now just like, all right, we're not going to keep this going like super long. Like just keep, like do what we need to do, like set an endpoint, and then just do the best we can, and not have to like produce like, well, it's a ratings hit, we got to keep trugging along with season 11 of the X-Files.
I think if you want something that is serialized, I think you have to do it that way if you want it to be coherent. If you want to make it like Star Trek, where it's like everything's episodic and like
you can replace the cast,
and like every episode is its own story, then like yeah, you can make that go on forever. Like
yeah, you get a different captain, you get different yeah.
It's the same thing, like why like Law and Order can be a billion episodes, because it's like everyone is it's a new crime. You do a new thing,
new like, crimes, new detective, new rip from the headline stories,
yeah. So like if you make an episodic style show, then like you can kind of just do fucking whatever. Who cares? But if you want something like serialized, where you're telling like an arc, like and not just like it's a little bit in there, but like that's the main story you're telling, is like this thing happens over time, then you really should like at least have a plan in place, like if not like, oh, we have everything like written out really well, you should at least have like the big beats done ahead of time.
There's also the risk that you do something for Netflix and then like they're trugging along and then they're like, nope, you're canceled, which happened to blow.
That's always
American
been
Vandal.
The case, right? Like that's been the case long before our current nightmare.
No,
there was a different
usually
nightmare.
Apple and HBO, even Hulu, like they're much more lenient with like kind of giving you the leeway to like find the audience, because they just need content. But a quick question before we end the show: are we ever going back to X-Files?
But here's the, I would say yes, but it's like it is 2025 was a real nightmare year for me. In terms of spare time, I think it's one of those things where I think I would like to, but I don't know as it stands right this moment where those hours come from for me to sit down and watch 4 episodes or whatever of X-Files and then do a podcast about it for free. like I do a full day's work, and then I sit down and I do like, let's say, depending on the day, 1 to 4 hours more work. It's hard to be like, and then I should do another podcast. But I would like to go back to the X-Files. I would like to at least get to the first movie.
It is insane to me that you do more than like an hour or so of extra work. Like you get to hour 3, stop.
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, it depends. Some days are okay, and then some days are less okay.
I can't fathom that, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Before we end, I'll just briefly mention some games that we've been playing. On my side, I played the new SpongeBob game. It might be the best SpongeBob game ever made. It's called Titans of the Tide. I want to write
making those, right? Like,
yeah, because they're really good, and they must sell
weird.
because they remastered Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is like the sort of best platformer from the PS2, and that was a hit. So they made a sequel called Cosmic Shake, and that must have been a hit because they did this, and they made the best one yet. I'll write about it for the website someday. I bought Terminator 2: No Fate, and I beat it in an hour. And I said, well, that was a huge waste of money. That game should be $9.99 because it's very short and it's not at all. Like it looks amazing, but like playing it, you're just like, yeah, this would have been great in the 90s. Because like this is
yeah.
That was a waste.
It's just like it. I mean, also like not for nothing, but like they already made like the Terminator like retro game, right? Like the light gun game.
Yeah,
the light gun.
Yeah,
it's like that's like the Terminator. And like if you're gonna make a Terminator game, I want it to be story focused. Like I want it to be a Telltale game.
Yeah, this is.
I like the Terminator in spite of itself. A franchise that is always saying, "What if we made more and fucked it up?"
Dude, don't even get me started. So that game's not worth it. And then Suika Planet came out today for $3 on Switch, and it's Super Mario Galaxy version of Suika game, where instead of dropping the fruits down into a bucket, you drop it into the center of like a planet, and it has the same song. And it is super addicting, and I love it. So that's
you
what
were just talking about Suika game like last episode.
Yeah, now there's Suika Planet.
There you go.
It's fucking great.
And then I will. We ran long on talking Pluribus because there was a lot to talk about Pluribus, but
I don't apologize.
I will talk more about the 100 line. I have played a lot more. I have seen substantially more thoughts about the 100 line. Last Defense Academy.
Would I like this?
No, it's because it's like. No, I think the answer is no. It is part tactical, like or like you could call it like a strategy RPG, like part, and then part visual novel, which I would say maybe the majority of hours spent is visual novel.
All right, never mind.
So like there you go. It's like it's a lot of so it is. It's like some of the creative team who made Danganronpa. And some of the people who made like 999 and Virtue's Last Reward,
all right, I'm out.
Like those games, it's like those two great tastes that taste great together. Like some of the creatives from both of those lineages smushed together to make a company and then this is what they made. So I think it is. People have definitely compared it more to like a Danganronpa. It isn't like a 1-to-1. This isn't like, oh, they just made Danganronpa. It's like, oh no, this is influenced by Danganronpa, and it's its own thing, but clearly has a lot of that DNA in it. So you know, you're not gonna like. It's a lot of reading. You don't like to read in video games, so I don't think you're gonna have a good time.
Write a book.
What? But you're not gonna read a book either, Jared.
What are you talking about? I'm reading.
You're not reading books in the same way you're playing games.
No, not in the same way. I'm just saying, like, if you have so much to write about, stop making a game. Write a book.
Why? Let people tell stories in games. But anyway, I have lots more to say about that, and I will say it probably the next episode. Yep. The other thing is, I started playing Final Fantasy X for the first time, and I have many thoughts about that. It is, man... The PlayStation 2. It is the PlayStation 2 : the video game, and I mean that in a complimentary way.
Some might say that the PlayStation 2 is the greatest console ever made.
It's also like it like butts up right against it. It is like the most pre 9/11 game I've ever maybe I've ever played.
Wow.
Like I don't think you could make it, not just because like I just think sensibilities have so drastically changed that like this could have only been made before the 9/11 and everything went to shit.
I remember watching G4 and there was a show that did tips and there was like how to get this most powerful weapon in Final Fantasy X, and it involved successfully dodging lightning strikes in a field 100 times in a row without failing.
Yeah.
I was mesmerized.
Yeah, I mean, don't do that. Like, you're allowed, but don't waste your time. You can play other video games. But so some of the problem is Final Fantasy X is a pretty long game, and the 100 line is a pretty long game. And man, video games are long, and I wish that I didn't have to spend so much time playing video games till I get through it, because it's like, you play a game and I'm like, man, this is cool. And then I boot up, like, how long to beat? And I'm like, fuck. Shit.
Well, you have all of January. There's nothing coming out this month.
I guess, but it's just like, when I see things that are like 70, 80 hours, I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm going to make it, man. I don't think I can make it. Because it's like, well, something's going to come along and I'm going to have to stop playing this fucking video game. I wish more video games were short, I guess is the end of the thought. That's
a message I think we can send ourselves out on. Make games shorter and look worse and cost less.
No, I'm not joking.
And I'm not joking. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and check out our Patreon.
You head over to videogame.town. That has all of our good contact information.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week for discussions on Final Fantasy X, Titus's laugh. Ah ha ha! Ah ha 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 ha!
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.